Chapter 2. Cassie stood at the top of the hill, still in shock, for her surroundings had gone from night to day within mere seconds. She gasped as she saw the creatures that moved at the base of the hill, moving around like a herd, but like nothing she had ever seen before. The creatures were covered in a thick grey fur, standing tall on all fours, yet their front paws were much longer than the back, making them look like gorillas. There was a green shine to their eyes and a long skeletal snout below that, which ended in a mouth full of fangs. But the most interesting thing were the antlers. They looked like pulled back tree branches, even showing signs of foliage growing upon them, making these creatures over 3 meters tall, definitely a sight to behold. Paying no attention to the girl, they moved across the field, grunting, groaning, and growling. Beyond the fields were dense forests that spanned for miles and miles in every direction. Cassie, still uneased and confused by her current situation, had noticed that above the tree line, there up in the heavens, were what seemed to be 3 moons, 2 smaller ones, blue in color, which were dwarfed by a colossal red giant looming in the back. If it was even a moon, was another question. Suddenly, she is startled by a voice behind her. As she whips her head around, she locks eyes with the stranger. Who are you?" she says, her voice a quiver, feeling her knees go weak and her heart beating, racing. Well, trying to assert herself. "My name is Alex Cannon. I saw you running from those men in the alley. I wanted to stop you, but I couldn't. Something was pushing me back. I wanted to save you from this world." "What do you mean, this world? Where am I? Why am I here?" she asked with such desperacy in her voice. "I don't know where we are, but I can tell you how I got here. I have been here for many months, cannot tell you exactly how long, for the days and the nights differ immensely. Sometimes endless night spans for what seems like weeks, making it hard to get my bearings on any form of a timeline. Where I am from is similar to your world. You are human, right?" Cassie nods her head. "Well, I was a lawyer, head of my firm, at the top of my game. I have a wife, 2 boys, the perfect life, if there was such a thing. And suddenly everything changed. I began to see and experience things, very strange things. I felt like I was being followed, like I was being watched everywhere I went, to the point where there was a voice speaking to me in my mind, and this voice had a name. Zadimus. His voice eventually led me to an innocent man, a man that I slaughtered in cold blood." Alex paused. "I don't even know how I got to him. I just remember running to my car, and the thickest fog rolled over the street from the ocean. Noticing something following me in my reflection, I quickened my pace. I remember dropping my keys at the car door. But as I knelt down, something grabbed my hand, and it tried to pull me under the car. I eventually broke free and got in the car, but I wasn't alone. Whatever was outside in the fog pursuing me was now inside with me. And then everything went blank. I don't remember anything after that. When I came to, I was on the ceiling, hands and feet gripping into the plaster, staring down at the man who was to become my victim. He was asleep, so he never saw it coming, or me coming. I eventually made my way across the ceiling, pegging my hands through the plaster like some terrible monster, and then down the wall, never taking my eyes off the man. It was like stalking prey, both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. Creeping on the floor like some feral beast, I moved closer and closer to him. Then I stood up before him, put my hands around his neck, and without a thought, I ripped out his throat. Alex's head drops. At this point, Cassie is filled with fear. The man's story was seemingly unbelievable and horrifically spine-chilling, but realizing that her situation was just as screwed as his, she knew she wanted to know more. What happened after you killed him? She needed to know. Well, the creature that had been influencing me all this time finally revealed himself in the flesh. He had a wide black top hat and a flowing black robe that seemed alive as it pulsated and moved with every step he took. I couldn't see his mouth, and his face was thin and pale, but those eyes that peered through me, two tiny red poles floating in an abyss of dark clouds, forever turning, just like the eye of a hurricane. It was like looking into a black hole. Then he spoke, but not with words, for there were no lips for him to use. Only an eerie voice that spoke within the confines of my mind.
You come with me now. Mother awaits you, child.
I may have just killed a man, but facing that thing before me, I would rather have faced my worst fears, imprisonment with the men that I put behind bars myself.
I am Zadimus Grimm, and we need to leave, for I have a fire to start.
And with a snap of his fingers, the room burst into flames, engulfing everything except the two of us. As I reached for the doorknob, I felt it in my bones. Something else, something darker than the Zadimus was looming around. Then we walked through the door, and I ended up here. Still don't know where here is, though. Astounded by the man's story, Cassie realized the gravity of the situation and said, But I don't understand. Why us? Why me? Why you? And did that Zadimus thing also come through? Yes he is. He's just as trapped as you and I, so he's not going anywhere anytime soon. What's your name? Asked Alex. Cassie. Well then, come with me, Cassie. I can provide food and shelter for you. You will need the help in this strange, strange world. Making their way down the hill, Alex felt an all too familiar sensation. The chill started to cool the air. He tensed up and froze where he stood, leaving Cassie puzzled. What is it? What are you doing? What's happening? She said frantically. He's here.
Hello, Alex. Did you miss me? Who's your friend?